I have a problem. These days, especially with the quarantine, I have been doing absolutely nothing. At the same time, the list of responsibilities keeps piling higher and higher. The guilt I feel when I have a day gone by with nothing done at all is immense. And I'm tired of it. What I have started to do is rely on the power of lists. Began with a simple to-do, then went on to writing my goals for the month and the year, and now lists have taken over my life, but for the better. The strategy I used to use was writing the tasks I had to do at the beginning of the week for every day. But I found that doing that just made me anxious with how much there was. I totally overscheduled and overestimated how much time I actually had in a day. I would push things off to the next day, then the next day, then the next day, and never felt satisfied because I would never complete my full list. Then I started writing my tasks day by day. At the end of the day, I would see what I got done, then go ahead and see what I was able to do the next day. It was much less stressful to see only a few items instead of the entire week, but still much more satisfying because I could actually get them all done. In episode 63 of Matt D'Avella's podcast, The Ground Up Show, a guest and an author, motivational speaker, etc., named Amber Ray, had some really great advice for what you should do as you go through each of these tasks throughout your day. She'll say it better than I possibly could, so here's a little excerpt from that.
I think one of the biggest things that's impacted me is that after every task or thing on my to-do list that I do, I write down either E, N, or D. E is energized me, N was neutral, and D was drained me. And then I indicate why it energized me, why it was neutral, and why it drained me. And that helps me every day adjust toward doing less of what drains me and doing more of what energizes me.
I highly recommend that you watch this podcast. There's lots of good episodes for any type of career that you want to go to, especially if you're creative or working on your own. I think working at home kind of applies to many people right now, so I highly, highly suggest you check it out, and I'll leave a link in the description to this specific episode. But still, I found myself pushing off tasks to the next day. I needed to specifically block out times for each task. At first, I would underestimate the amount of time that things took, and it made very little room for my self-care. So I began to add more breaks. Now I go hour by hour with each task, making room to address problems as they come up or for bouts of relaxation, because that is seriously needed, which I'll get to later. When it comes to the doing part of things, there are a few tips I have to add. First of all, try out the Pomodoro technique. This is where you use a timer for 25 minutes, then rest for 5 minutes between. With this, you feel more motivated to get as much as you can done without distraction, which can wait for that 5 minutes. Personally, I work for 25 minutes, then play Animal Crossing for 5, and repeat. Giving yourself a little reward easily makes the experience more enjoyable, and I actually look forward to starting my work every day. It's also neat to see a visual representation of how many Pomodoro rounds you've done with the app, but you can also use your own tracker. Anything works. I just used a Post-it note, or you can use your notebook, whatever works for you. Second, try to find to do what you need to do at the same time every day. A lot of people suggest that you try waking up earlier in the morning to get things done, and I found that is actually what works most for me. Really getting up before anyone else in the house not only allows them to distract me less, but I am at my peak, I feel, of creative energy once I wake up, have some tea or coffee, and get going. For me, it's more like a set-in-stone block of time, like a class or a meeting would be. It's not that at 7 I should start work, it's at 7 I have to start work. That should versus need to mentality is really applicable to a lot of things, and I'll probably make a video on that later. Along with the time comes the space. Really, you can get creative with it. All you have to do is make it yours and try to make it as distraction-free as possible. Sometimes I switch up the place depending on what I'm doing. It's nice to do different tasks in different areas. For example, I'll do editing at my desk, I'll do writing on my bed, And when it's nice outside, I'll try to mix it up and do what I can outside. I like reading or writing in my journal outside. It's really, really nice if you're able to. My recommendation is that you always have at least 3 things at your side. Your journal with your list of tasks to do for the day, some tea or your choice of beverage. Today I chose a sparkling water, and your Pomodoro timer. Find what things are your get work done things and establish a mood of productivity. Another thing is, don't get so upset if you stop or miss a day or something unexpected happens. Take a deep breath and know that we are all humans. Change takes time, but as long as you are at least trying to go in the right direction, good things will happen. So just as a review from the video, to make things into 5 actionable steps for you to do right now. One, which really got me rolling, was getting a journal. Start a journal. It doesn't matter what kind. Personally, I use the Hobonichi Cousin, which is a beautiful planner. I love it for so many reasons, and I'll probably make a video on why eventually, but anything works. Bullet journal, there's so many videos out there where you can explore different types of journals, but literally just use a 5-star notepad if you have to, and just keep your to-do list there. See how your thoughts are going throughout the day, add them there. Really, it's a place for your mind to kind of just relax and figure out what's going on. Next, experiment with different types of lists. It really took me, even now, I've been doing to-do lists this past year since January, and I'm still changing it up. Right now I'm doing the block method where I work for an hour by hour to figure out what exactly I'm doing each hour. And it might change later on depending on what I'm doing. So see what works with your life and what is most comfortable with you. Number 3, make space and time for yourself. So set up that space, your workspace, where you have little distractions. If you're easily distracted by social media, either use the Pomodoro timer, get a blocking app where you can't open social media, put your phone in a different room completely, and make a space where you can just dive into your work. A lot of people suggest that you don't do work on your bed. I personally don't have a problem with it, but if you usually do and you have trouble, you might try to find a different place. It could just be on your floor. Just clear off a space and try work there. Another thing where you really have to experiment. And then the time. Try to do a specific time every day and really get it into yourself, the difference between I should do this and I have to do this. You have to work on yourself and you have to work, or else you're gonna let things slide. Next, try Pomodoro or another kind of breaking up technique where you're breaking up your work and your relaxed time. Sometimes I find that I can just dive into work and I just want to keep going. But by forcing yourself to take that break, you kind of have to reset your mind and you get used to a blocking schedule where you're making time for yourself, which goes into the last step, where make time for yourself. This is something that people ignore a lot nowadays, including myself. I almost, something really bad almost happened because I was just overworked. I kept on saying yes to things when I really shouldn't have, and I was ignoring my mental and physical health. And this happens to so many people. So really, no one's gonna be mad at you, and in fact, you're gonna perform so much better for yourself and other people if you make the time for yourself to just relax and be sure that you are healthy. So that's my video. If you have any questions or input, I would love to hear it in the comments. And I'd really like to use this channel as a way to create a community where we can hold each other liable to create new habits. That's a huge thing in habit formation, is having somebody who you can rely on to hold you accountable and make sure that you are getting the things done that you say. So I would love to make more videos similar to this one. There's so much more that I can go in depth with when it comes to productivity, habit forming, and really enjoying your one life, because that's all we have. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you'd like to see more like this, please subscribe and share it with your friends if you think that they need this. I know that this is especially a hard time when it comes to trying to focus. So if you have anything that you want help with, or you just want to reach out, feel free. And thank you so much for watching.